Welcome to the Weigh In Podcast, your prescription for a healthier life, where wellness is more than just a number on a scale. We'll dive deep into not just weight loss, but the medical, emotional, and lifestyle aspects of well-being.
In each episode, we'll weigh in on hot topics ranging from diet myths and exercise trends to mental health and chronic disease management, providing you with the evidence-based advice to guide your health decisions. Remember, it's not just about the weight on the scale, but about creating a healthier, more balanced you. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Pretty good. How are you?
Doing great.
Guess what? It's still raining
Yeah.
here. Like, again, torrential downpour. It's super, super depressing.
Yeah, it's been raining here as well, but not as bad as you guys. It's just unusual for LA weather. We're paying sunshine tax, so we need to have the sunshine.
Sunshine tax. I love
So,
that.
I need my refund. What's been going on with you?
Not much. Definitely been trying to keep up with all the weight loss tea in social media, on the news. The latest TikTok trend. Have you heard of this? Ozempic.
No, what is
It's like
that?
the new TikTok craze. So basically, people on TikTok are saying that they've been doing like an Ozempic diet and that they've lost tons of weight. There's people who are like, I lost 40 pounds in 2 months. Some people are like, I lost like 10 pounds in 21 days. And yeah, that's like, this is the latest thing.
Like they're just eating oatmeal? Like
So
I don't know.
Yeah, girl. So the recipe is it's like a drink that has like oats water, a squeeze of lime, and then plus or minus some cinnamon apparently. And people like dump all this into a blender and they make this and they're calling it like an Oatzempic. This is like the thing, and they're saying that it's like Ozempic basically.
That reminds me a lot of that Beyonce diet that was out a few years ago where she only had like lemon, cayenne, honey or something. I don't know. But that's all you had. You lost a lot of weight, but it made you go to the bathroom and it was made you lose weight for sure because that's all you're having.
I think so. To be clear to people that are listening, no, Ozempic is not at all Ozempic. And Ozempic is a medication. Ozempic is a food. So they're not one and the same at all. I don't know if people are eating or like having this Ozempic just once a day. There definitely are some people who this is all they're eating. And if you opt to do this and it's all you're taking in, you definitely run the risk of sort of having the opposite effect of what you want. The thing about not taking in enough calories is eventually your body starts to think that it doesn't need to work as hard to burn calories, and you kind of plateau and stop losing weight. So that's the thing about sort of taking in too little calories, which if all you're doing is taking in this like Ozempic drink, that definitely is probably what's happening there. So it definitely could have the opposite effect. That being said, oatmeal in and of itself is not a bad thing to have. Fiber, in many ways, is like a beneficial thing to have when you're on a diet. And people aren't wrong for doing that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the drink itself. I think it's just problematic if you're doing it all day, and if you're doing it as sort of your only method of weight loss. Anytime you do too much of any good thing, it can always be problematic. So that's kind of what I would say. I recommend that you eat a balanced diet. In general, I encourage my clients to do a high protein diet. And this is definitely not that.
Yeah, it just rings to me as another trend, like just another cleanse or whatever. You probably will lose the weight really fast, but you'll just gain it once you get back to eating regular food because it's not sustainable to be just having this oat drink. So, I mean, if you're trying to do it for an event, okay, fine, but it's just not sustainable in the long run. So I wouldn't find this beneficial for people that think it's going to last for a while. It's just not a good idea.
And diabetics do not do Ozempic, please.
Yeah.
It's not gonna help you in terms of glucose control. Don't do it.
Yeah. So I was reading a couple articles actually. One was about Costco. You guys have
Okay.
Costco out where you are?
Yeah, we got Costco out here. We don't
Yeah.
have In-N-Out, but we do have Costco.
Oh yeah, Costco's like international. They're called SNR in the Philippines, and it's basically Costco.
Ah,
Costco is going to start offering these prescriptions of Ozempic. They're partnering with a company called Sesame, which is like a healthcare marketplace. So it's like 179 a month for like 3 months or something like that.
I'm by no means saying that this is what's happening with Costco, but Zarina, I think you and I know that a common marketing ploy is like, oh, $150 for semaglutide, but like it's $150 to prescribe semaglutide, not get
Mm-hmm.
you the medication. And when you pay for the medication, if your insurance doesn't cover it and you're buying brand name Ozempic or brand name Wegovy, your actual price tag might be, I don't know, like upwards of $1,200. A lot of times, if it seems really cheap, it might not necessarily include accessing the medication. A lot of times, if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And again, that might not be the case with what we're talking about specifically, but just something to think about when you're looking for these medications, is that sometimes that price tag oftentimes will mean compromising on the safety of the medication, or potentially not necessarily accessing the medication. Perhaps it includes your visits and getting prescribed the medication, but not the medication itself.
Just to add to that, I agree. There's a lot of these online websites that I see that would, or ads, and it's like, oh, you get semaglutide as low as like, 159 or whatever a month. But yeah, there's a fine print there. The nice
Right.
thing about you and me is that we're upfront with what our prices are. So I don't
Yep.
want to like nickel and dime you and make you think like, oh, you're going to be paying this one price, and then, so we're very upfront with how
Extremely.
much
We don't have
everything
time for
costs.
games.
No.
And
So
most legitimate places aren't really going to have like hidden costs, and they're going to tell you up front sort of what the deal is. And one thing that I like about both of our clinics, Serena, is we also offer things that can kind of suit a wide range of incomes, right? Like if semaglutide isn't in your price range, we have other options, because we get it. Like these medications are expensive.
oh yeah, I mean, I
They're
offer
super
a
expensive.
weekly option. So if you can't
Yep.
pay the monthly price, and well, you can come in weekly. We can give you the injection. No commitment that way. If you want to pay the monthly price, do it that way. That's fine as well. So we are very flexible with whatever your needs are.
Yep. Yep. And also, like, it doesn't have to be semaglutide or tirzepatide. They're amazing drugs. I'm a huge fan, but there are plenty. Before all of this happened, there were plenty of other go-to weight loss drugs that are way more affordable that I still offer, and I know Zarina and Callie also offers as well. And again, a lot of very legitimate weight loss places will provide you with a number of options, and if they don't have those options available, they'll probably at least be open to discussing them with you. I think it's important to keep those in mind, that all of these things in mind, because this is not like a one size fits all thing.
The nice thing about the internet, and now like you can do your research, there's so many options out there for everybody, but we want to make sure as practitioners that we're making sure that the client knows what they're getting into and that you are making a fully informed decision, because there's tons of med spas out there where you can just get this medication but there's no guidance or nothing, or even like websites where they're peptides that you could just buy that are essentially semaglutide, but they're research meds that aren't intended for human use. So we just want to do our due diligence and make sure that you are.
Imagine getting that in the mail, like you get your semaglutide file and it says not intended for human use. Sorry.
And people ignore it. It's crazy. Like I had a TikTok one time talking about this, and some people were like, oh my God, I've lost like 20 pounds on these research meds. And they were just defending it to the death. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm just scared for you people. Like,
So scared.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that we're doing our part and making sure that you're making an informed decision when it comes to weight loss meds. Because at the end of the day, these are still medications and they still have side effects. So we want to make sure that you're doing it safely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in general, even if you're like not our patient, you just have like a general question about like what to look for, email us at contact@theweightinnps.com. You can also shoot us a message on Instagram. It might be a question that other listeners have as well, and we'd be happy to answer it on our show. For last week's supplement question, the correct answer was A, berberine. Berberine is renowned for its potential impact on metabolism and weight management. Originating from various plants in the berberis family, it's been used for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine. Research suggests it may help lower blood sugar, support cardiovascular health, and assist in weight loss, making it a popular supplement in the wellness and weight management communities. This supplement is a popular choice for those looking to maintain healthy blood sugar levels and support fat metabolism. It's a trace mineral that enhances the action of insulin and is involved in the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. What supplement is this? A, chromium picolinate. B, a basic multivitamin. C, L-glutamine. And D, B complex number 6.
Today we'll be talking to Andrew Hewitt. He is a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. He also has experience in ICU and the ER, and he found his passion for mental health. And his practice also encompasses many other services that we'll go over, including men's health and weight loss. And so we're so fascinated to be talking to Andrew about his experience and his expertise in this field. So thank you for coming
Andrew.
on.
Hi, how you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you
We're
for being
super
here.
excited to have you. You were like one of the first people that we thought of when we were like started doing this podcast and wanted people to come on, because it's really cool that you have this experience being on Tirzepatide and then you have this amazing clinic.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I when I saw that you guys were doing this, I was like, oh my God, I would love to be a guest, because we hit it off, when we all started talking on TikTok, and then we met, and it was like, oh
So
yeah,
cool.
anytime I can sit and talk to two people who I like and respect, I'm going to be all for it. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that happens.
Awesome. We so appreciate your time today. So first question I think that Serena and I had is you wanted to know what inspires you to start your own practice to begin with.
All right, so I was working for a really large psychiatric firm here in Florida. They have like 35 offices around the whole state. I was one of they had over 100 psychiatric nurse practitioners there. It was a good company. I was getting paid really well. They were nice to me. They gave me a lot of leeway. I had a health issue. I needed to rework my schedule. They could not have been nicer. I never left them because I was like, oh, screw these people. But we had a team meeting one day. And so mind you, there's at least 100 of me. Okay. And they're like, hey, follow-ups from now on have to go from 20 minutes to 15 minutes. And I was like, okay. Like, this way you guys start seeing an extra patient every hour, essentially. I'm like, all right, well, most of the patients are follow-ups because everyone's full. It's 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. They want me to see an extra 10 extra patients a day, 4 days a week. That's 40 extra patients a week. I know what the insurance rates are because all insurance work. And I'm like, and there's 100 of me. So it's 40 new patients. So that's 400 new patients at 160 to 180 a follow-up. It's like, it's a lot of money. And I'm like, I could do this myself. And at that point, I was already doing it like in my spare time. Like Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, I would do it. I would come home from work and I would see some of my own patients. And then I said to my wife, I was like, I could do this full time. She's like, let's do the math and see how it like all works out. And a month later, she was like, you're right, you can. I'm like, yeah. I was like, we need an office. And she was like, let's see how we make that work. And everything just snowballed. Every time we'd be like, hey, this is the direction we're going to go in. And everything just lined up for us to go in that direction,
So cool. And did you start off by just doing mental health initially and then sort of add in these other services?
Yeah, it was just mental health. It was just insurance based. Because when you do psychiatric mental health, there are services that you can use like Alma or Headway or Cerebral, where they'll bill the insurance company for you without you being credentials with the insurance. You're listed under them. So it's their MPI number. So this way it's like you could still do your own thing, which is why we're still able to do our own thing. It's like we take insurance, but we're not taking insurance at the same time. But it was strictly that.
Excellent.
I had no idea that these other things were available to do.
What's the name of your practice and where are you guys located?
Caliper Wellness. You find us at caliperwellness.com. We are in Hudson, Florida, but I am licensed in 14 states and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh,
wow, congrats. That's amazing.
Thank you. We're going to start volunteering.
The Virgin Islands? That is so cool. I love that.
So we went to St. Croix, and we were going to look at offices. We were going to open an office there.
Wow.
So I'm always thinking, listen, I'm 50. I don't know how much longer I could. I mean, I'll work until I'm dead. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know, do I want to live here in Florida? I mean, it's Florida, you know? So where can we go that it's the same weather, but not Florida? Like, I don't have to worry about seeing, you know, rebel flags and such, right?
Right.
So we went to St. Croix.
We are picking up what you're putting down there.
Yeah, exactly. So we loved St. Croix. It was the people were so nice and genuine. I talked to a therapist there, and I was just like, dude, I was like, listen, I don't mean to be blunt and disrespectful. It's my culture, being Italian, being from New York. I just have to be blunt. Can people here even afford mental health care? I said, because everyone seems super rich, and the super rich don't even live there. They vacation there. Well, they're super poor. And she was like, honestly, I won't lie to you. They can't. I'm like, all right. I said, so we should volunteer. And she was like, well, would you? I'm like, yeah. She said, call the Department of Health and tell them. So I called them and told them, and I told them that my wife's a nurse and that she's getting her license there in, you know, the Virgin Islands. I could see patients tele, you know, I'll give them a couple of hours a week to fill that time for me, and it'd be for free. And then once a year we'll come down, or twice a year, see patients in person. And then they're like, well, your wife's a nurse too. I'm like, yeah. Oh, would she mind doing flu shots? I'm like, no. Like, they said, perfect. You guys come down in like September, October. You guys help us get through flu season with flu shots, and you can see the psych patients that you need to see in person. So like, we're now just working it all out. Again, we went a direction, and everything just snowballed to the way that it's supposed to go. You know, no forcing it. It just all happened.
So cool to hear.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that for you guys. You guys are helping people out, but then, you know, you're kind of getting your fun into that I love.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's super cool. And as somebody with like a Caribbean background, I just think that that's like so amazing to sort of like volunteer that time, especially because culturally, you know, sometimes mental health isn't as like accepted. So I think it's just so cool to offer that service for people that need it. And that's amazing. So
Sadly,
cool.
it's every culture. You know, coming from New York, being an Italian background, your family would rather you have cancer than mental health, than anxiety, depression, you know? And it's the stigma. It's every culture has it, unfortunately.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's terrible.
I know you incorporate mental health and weight loss. So I just kind of wanted you to talk about like, how does that affect weight when it comes to medications or say depression?
So a lot of my weight loss patients they originally came because they're feeling depressed. They hate what they see in the mirror, right? So I can give you an SSRI. You'll start to feel better, but you're still overweight. And being someone who was 325 pounds, I, on my own, just from lifestyle modifications, I went from 325 to 280, right? That was just all myself.
Amazing.
And then for a good 2 years, though, I couldn't get past 280. I'd go down a pound, up a pound. And I really started to feel terrible. And my doctor, you know, they just say the usual, watch what you eat and exercise more. I'm like, I'm working out 7 days a week, 90 minutes a day. I am fasting for 36 hours at a time, having a protein shake and starting it again. I'm like, something's wrong. And then I got on the GLP-1 medications. So to me, it's like, I know if someone would have said, well, here, take Zoloft. Like, what's that going to do for me? It's going to put weight back on. It's going to make my A1C go back up. I don't want my A1C to go back up. I just worked my butt off to get it from, you know, the 12.5 or 13 that it was down to 6. Like, why do I want to worry about it going up again?
Right.
Like, so I just understand, you know, what it's like, you know, and now when we have patients that tell us they come in for their initial, you know, session with me, they're like, oh yeah, I have to have sex with the lights off, or I don't have sex with my spouse anymore because I'm heavy.
Oh my gosh.
I have to get dressed in the bathroom, so I don't want my husband to look at me, you know. And it's like, yeah, that's terrible. You know, that's affecting the quality of your life.
Absolutely.
Where you have to alter your schedule around things, or just not be able to just fly off the seat of pants, take your clothes off, and you and your husband, you know, get to enjoy each other. Like, you'd be like, nope, gotta close the curtain, gotta close the light, gotta close the door, can't have no light. Like, who wants to live that way? Like, that, it takes a toll on you mentally, emotionally.
So
That's
how do
crazy.
you approach that type of patient if they have both issues? Like, do you address both, or do you have separate visits? How does that work?
I do it all at the same time. I go over the medications, and I tell them, like, listen, and I tell them the same thing, like, these are medications I can use. I can give you Lexapro. I can. You're going to start feeling better, but the problem is still there. Or you can go and attack the root cause of it, which you're telling me is how you look.
I guess one question I have is, if I'm a male and I'm coming to your practice, and I'm depressed, I'm having weight gain, how do you figure out whether or not it's my testosterone levels, whether or not it's, like, how do you figure out what I need, and how do you even approach that?
I lay all the options out for them. And then I just say, well, I'm like, I can't make the decision for you. It's your body. I want you to do what you want. I'll support that. But I just want to give you all the information. And then they say, well, what would you do? And I just tell them, well, this is what I did. For me, I got on the weight loss medications, got down to the weight I'm comfortable. Then I went on testosterone. And now I feel even more benefits. But it's up to you. Like, we'll run labs. We can take this as fast or slow as you want. We'll do labs. We'll run your PSA. We'll get, it's going to take about a month because labs take, 2 or 3 weeks just to get the results back to you and everything. And come back and go from there. Or we, if you have labs, we can use those labs, And then ultimately, but most guys like my age, they're walking around at like 350 or less, as their total testosterone, and they're feeling like crap. Like, of course you're fatigued. Of course your libido's in the toilet. Of course you don't want to work out. It's so difficult, and insurance companies don't make it easy. They want you to feel worse. They want you to feel like at 150. And I just tell every one of my testosterone patients when they come in, I'm like, you know how bad you feel right now? 325, 350. Yeah. Your insurance company wants you to feel 2.5 times worse before they'll pay for it. And they'll say the same thing. Like,
it's so crazy.
They're either cops or firefighters. And they're like, I can't feel worse. Why would I want to feel worse? I'm like, I'll get you started on these, right away. And they're like, all right, here are my labs. And we go from there.
Do you find that once these patients, like the male patients, are on testosterone, that they don't need to then think about doing things like GLP-1s? Or do you find that oftentimes they need both? It probably is amazing to see how much better they feel.
Oh, it is. Like, to see someone's face, like one of them is a firefighter, and he's pretty young. And I just had a follow-up with him. I'm like, how you feeling? He came in all peppy. He was all like, yeah, I'm feeling it. Like, bouncing,
Is there any stigma with guys and like getting on testosterone replacement therapy and like weight loss meds? How do you go about that?
Oh man. So right off the bat, like, most of my male weight loss patients are because their wives are patients, and then their wives like, hey, they see what's working for them, and the wife's just like, go see Andrew, he will take care of you, and they're much more receptive that way. The guys who come in for testosterone, they want testosterone, so there's no real stigma. The real issue is when I get a patient who's coming to me for, depression or anxiety, and I have to try to tell them, like, hey, let's do some labs and see maybe if your testosterone is low. And they're like, I don't need that. Like, and I do the whole Adams assessment with them. I just go through the questions, and I just tell them, this is what this is the Adams assessment. This is what it's going to tell me. I want you to answer honestly, as honest as possible. They're all yes and no questions. And they get to the end, they've answered yes for like all 8 questions or whatever it is. And it's like, how could you tell me that you don't want to at least explore this possibility? You have every single issue, and bluntness works. Being blunt definitely helps,
Oh, especially with guys, because things will fly over their head.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sure with a lot of cops and firefighters, you get a lot of like straight shooters who just.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just tell them straight, like, do you want to be like this or you want to be like that? And like, I want to be like that. I'm like, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
That's great. I'm gonna have to borrow that once we start doing mental health.
I just, I ask them, obviously, I get a read on the person. If I see that they want more professional, I just say to them, like, how soft are your erections? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, could it be more erect? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere, But the finger is usually the best one. You want that or you want that? And that's it. And they're like,
yeah. Andrew's pointing his finger down and then up when he's saying that and then that. Let's pretend that money is not a factor. We're living in this like alternate, super happy, perfect universe. And I come in, I need to lose weight. I'm obese. And I'm like, I don't know, Andrew, should I do Tirzepatide or should I do Semaglutide? Which one would you recommend?
Oh, go with Tirzepatide. If money's not an issue, go with the Tirzepatide. Someone who started out, I started out on Semaglutide, and it was working okay, but not as good as I needed. Because again, I'm diabetic. I had some health issues at that time. So I really needed to be a little bit more aggressive. And that's the Tirzepatide. This is exactly how I tell patients. They're both great. Okay. Do you want a Mercedes-Benz or do you want a Bentley? Like, there's nothing wrong with the Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz is awesome. But do you want a Bentley? I want a Bentley. You know?
Facts.
If it's a guy, I just relate it back to sports. You know, somehow I'm like, you want Derek Jeter, or do you want Chuck Knobloch? You know, they're like, well, Derek Jeter. Like, who doesn't? Everyone wants the All-Star. This is the All-Star. You know.
Yeah. Why is it that you prefer the Tirzepatide? Like, how did it make you feel, or what results have you seen with your patients?
So, every single patient has said the same thing. The food noise, which again leads to anxiety, is gone with it. Whereas semaglutide, I didn't feel hungry, but I still was snacking. You know, I just ate less when I sat down at a meal, and it's fine. But when you have food noise, where from 2:00 in the afternoon till 6:00 at night, I could literally just graze like that. I mean, I was constantly hungry that whole time. The Tirzepatide took care of that. Like, I don't get that anymore.
And what about side effects? Did you experience any?
So my first dosage of Tirzepatide, I was nauseous for like 2 hours. And that was it. I do get the constipation, but that's more expected, and I explain to my patients the same way. I'm like, this is what I know will happen. You will get constipated. But I just take 3 magnesium gummies before I go to bed, and I'm fine.
No, magnesium's wonderful.
What else works for you? Like, for me, putting warm milk in my coffee helps too, as opposed to just putting cold milk. That helps a lot too. But magnesium is awesome.
Oh yeah, I sleep so much better with magnesium, and
Yes.
there's so many different types, of course, but yeah, it's just been amazing, and it also helps regulate your bowels and stuff like that. So it's just good to have on to keep you regular.
Do you find that the patients that switch from one to the other, or even in your experience, that there's a difference in side effects?
Yes, I've noticed that people who have gotten nauseous or violently like vomiting on semaglutide or end up having no issues on the Tirzepatide.
Agreed. In fact, I would argue I very rarely have patients that actually have severe side effects with the Tirzepatide. Yeah. Most of my Tirzepatide patients are very happy, and most of them hang out at 5 milligrams, to be honest with you.
So because Jen does the ordering, she sends the patients their tracking information and everything. So if they start feeling nauseous, they contact her. They just email her. So she'll tell me like, oh, could you put Zofran in for this patient? Yeah, no problem. Sure enough, I looked them up. It's semaglutide. It's every single one that she has me order Zofran for is semaglutide.
What are your other tips and tricks for managing side effects with these GLP-1s?
Walking will help tremendously. I mean, right off the bat, it's going to help with gastro emptying. And that's obviously it's going to be an issue. Another trick is sneak in your protein. Sneak it in any way you can during the day. And if you don't know what I mean, a very simple thing that I do, is one of the things that I do is I've replaced my milk in my coffee with vanilla protein shake, right? And I just put in whatever I would put in for milk, that same amount. So now, but over the course of the week, I've just snuck in 20 grams of protein on the over the week that I'll drink that.
There's been a lot of conversation about weight regain once the weight is lost. Do you have any advice for clinicians or patients on how to prevent this from happening?
It's going to be like anything else, any other disease process. If it's lifestyle and behavior modification and sticking to that and not falling back into the old traps and old ways. I'm guilty. Everyone's guilty of it. We have one patient, she will get to her target weight, get off, which is fine. And then a month and a half later, she's like, I put 12 pounds on. And I just had, what are you doing? Nothing. I just went right back to eating how I was eating. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You have to change what you're doing. That's the problem. That's what you got to do. It's all behavior modification. You got to keep exercising. You got to keep at it. You have to keep watching. You have to be diligent. It's your health. You have to be diligent with your health.
And for patients like that patient that you just referenced, do you recommend that they're on Tirzepatide or semaglutide for an extended period of time? Or do you have thoughts on like lifelong management with these medications?
If you have PCOS or if you're diabetic like I am, it's lifelong. Every other patient, I leave it up to them what they want to do. I just give them what I would think is the best advice, and I just tell them you have to make your own decision. I'm just here to guide you. That's all. Ultimately, You're the captain of this ship, and I'm just showing you. I'm just holding the map. But if you have to, for some people though, it's that question of like, well, if I can just get these 10 pounds off, well, then I'm not morbidly obese anymore. according to my life insurance, and I'll be very happy with that. Because that's scary as hell when someone tells you you're morbidly obese. I was laying in the hospital bed after having a heart attack, and I was told, like, of course you had a heart attack. You're morbidly obese. I'm like, what? Huh? Who? Who's morbidly obese? The doctor's like, you're 5'9", 325 pounds. What do you think you are? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, morbidly obese. And I was like, oh, this just sounds so rude.
It does sound rude. It does sound rude.
I'm fat. I mean, that would have been fine. I was like, oh yeah, I am fat. Like, morbidly obese. Like, come on now. Don't use it for name calling.
It is a diagnosis that makes you cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds worse somehow.
Yes,
Even though it means the same
does.
thing. It's just worse.
Have you got the story of Kevin Smith when he was thrown off the airplane because they said he was too fat to fly?
No, I didn't know.
So he needed a second seat, but I think at the time he said he knew this already, so he always purchased a second seat. But they were giving him a hard time, and they threw him off a flight, and they were like, you're too fat to fly. And he was like, too fat to fly? He's like, and then I'm walking off the plane, and I see every fat person hiding, just so that they don't get recognized as being fat. He's like, I wanted to just stop pointing, but I didn't want to ruin anyone else's day just because my day was ruined. So, these are the things, we all need that little jolt. We need that little shake up,
Yeah, I know. You're right. I think for people that are struggling with their weight, who are overweight or truly obese, a lot of people that have lost weight, myself included, you have this turning point where something happens and you're like, okay, this is my turning point. It's time to lose.
And I know you started prescribing Zepbound through insurance. How has that process been for you?
I don't want to get anyone in trouble when I say this, but insurance companies suck. And, a barrier we have as providers is trying to explain to people, your insurance company doesn't care if you're healthy. They don't care if you're sick. They just care if you pay. The more you pay and the less they pay, that's called profit. And their goal is for the stock price to go up. Okay.
Yep.
I just tell them, like, we'll try it and see what happens. Odds are they'll reject it. I do charge patients and every single insurance company, they want the prior authorization. But I tell them, I have to charge you for it. That's time out of my day. That's time I'm not seeing patients. That's time I'm not generating revenue, in which I use that revenue to feed my family. So I do have to charge you for that. But the insurance companies, when you get on the phone with them, you start asking them questions, or they start asking you your questions. These questions are meant to, one, confuse you. So this way you answer it incorrectly. That gives them the chance to deny it. And two, contradict each other. So they would have basis now to deny the medication. Like, you have to really have like a little bit of a lawyer mindset when you're doing the prior authorization. I'm lucky. I grew up in a family of people who were in a lot of trouble with the law, so I got to witness some stuff. But you have to be that diligent. You have to ask them. If you don't understand the question, you have to tell them, like, say that, like, reword that. That sounds confusing. Make them break it down. And I just tell them, explain it to me like I'm 5 and I don't know this stuff. They want you to answer yes here, and then actually the direct opposite here. And if you say yes here, well, that contradicts that one. That question, that's it. Your claim's thrown out.
Wow. What questions did they ask? Do you remember?
That's insane.
Body, they asked what height, weight, BMI. Then they asked what diagnostic tests did you run to reach that BMI? So BMI calculator. They then asked, well, what else did you do to confirm that diagnosis? They got on a scale. Like, that's what I did. Like, they got on a scale.
Ridiculous.
And I saw the number. Like, that, a scale is an instrument of measure, and it's in a doctor's office. Like, it's a real thing. It's a real tool that, you use in the medical profession.
I had another question. I kind of thought about it as you were talking about working out and staying motivated. Is I see on social media that you and your wife have kind of gone on a lot of this journey together. It seems it looks like she lost a ton of weight too, which is amazing and so cool. And I think something that other couples may struggle with, right, is when you're going on a weight loss journey and maybe your spouse doesn't want to go on that weight loss journey yet, or maybe they're not ready. And do you have any advice for sort of navigating that?
Be patient. Everyone's on their own journey,
right.
their own time frame. What you can have, and this is for anything in life with any partner. If your partner, though, isn't supportive of you, that's a lot different than them joining you. They could not join you, but still be supportive. If they're not supporting you though, like it's nothing's going to work for you. It's just, unfortunately, it's not. But it's the same thing. Like if you were trying to get over alcohol, but your spouse drinks to excess, not just that they have to stop drinking, but if they're going to drink to excess, you're going to be more inclined to just be like, I'm going to just keep drinking. This is no different.
Right.
They just have to be supportive. That's it.
That's great advice.
Yeah, that's wonderful. The picture you posted, I think, like last week of you two with your transformation. I was just like, oh, I didn't know you guys were both on it together. This is amazing.
That's so cool.
What that came about was we did a bridal expo, like we did as a vendor table for weight loss. So we came up with a photo shoot idea. We did, and Jessica, our COO, did. She's like, we'll do a photo shoot. You guys, and she lives in New Jersey. She's like, you guys got to fly up here. I have everyone here, hair, makeup, whatever.
Ooh.
Come up here. We'll do Jen's bridal day, like Jen's wedding day, the whole bridal thing, and just take pictures of everything. And Jen hates being on camera. She hates. So if I do a video, if you guys look up at my old TikToks when I would do like dad jokes with Jen, she would get so annoyed because she knew she was going to be on camera. Now we look at those videos and we laugh because neither of us look that way anymore. But so we did that. She got the wedding dress off of Amazon, which was a beautiful dress. We had people ask for if they could buy the dress. So we went and did that, and she loved it. She absolutely loved every single second. The makeup, the hair, the eyelashes, the nails, all of it. We put this PowerPoint, video together for the bridal show, and it went over. It went over really well. So now in my office is a picture of us from the before picture, like at our wedding. I have people like when they sit down in the office, they're like, "Is that your brother?" No, that's
wow.
That was me.
No, that's not. That's not you. I'm like, yeah, that's me when I was 330 pounds, whatever I was.
Wow, that's super inspiring.
It's so inspiring, and that picture is like so amazing to see because both of you had like such a significant transformation.
Thanks. The picture that hasn't been shown yet is both of us wearing those original outfits. I had the dress on, the dress, obviously, I mean, it looked terrible. But the shorts, my shorts that I'm wearing in that picture, they were a size 46. I'm a size 34 now. And they were uncomfortable when I wore them on our wedding day. They were snug.
Wow.
To say the least. And the shirt was a 3X. Some of my shirts now, I have a couple mediums that I just cut the sleeves off of, and it's like I can wear medium.
Okay,
show off them guns.
Great feeling.
Yep.
It is. Then you start buying yourself all these different kinds of clothes that you would never wear. I'm on a whole tracksuit kick right now. Poshmark is awesome, and so is hospice. Any hospice thrift stores. I go there. I buy clothes. I'm not embarrassed to say I go to a hospice thrift store and buy clothes for $5. Not at all.
Oh yeah, I love thrifting, especially you find some nice gems.
And also, it's like expensive trying to get back once you get to your like goal weight, trying to like get a whole new wardrobe when your whole life you've been a totally different size. So I'm all about the thrifting.
When I finished up in the hospital as a nurse and I took my first psychiatric nurse practitioner position, I needed business clothes because I only had scrubs. Right, so I went and I bought pants and khakis and everything. They were size 40. Those 40s are now all in the donate pile, in our bedroom. But man, oh man, it's fun, trying stuff on that you would never ever wear.
Yes.
The damn workout shorts I wear, I would never wear those. I would never wear those shorts at 325 pounds. Now it's just like, give me those hoochie daddies. I'll wear them.
Good for you.
We went to
especially because you're so limited when you're at those other sizes. They don't offer stuff that's nearly as just like cool looking or like attractive. Yes. There's more options now, but it's nice once you're sort of what's considered a normal size and you can wear all the things that you want to wear.
Hell yeah. And then, I put on a size 36 pants last week because we had a business meeting. So I put on like dress clothes to look professional. Those were too big. And I was like, I guess I needed 34. And sure enough, I'm a 34 now. And I was like, I'm not buying any more pants though. I will stay with 36 and just put a belt on and it's fine.
Well, that's such a great feeling. And, congrats to both you guys. It's amazing.
One final question that I had for you was just, I get a lot of people that come in that have gotten medications from other places, like other doomsday scary places on the internet. I had somebody come in with a vial of what she believed to be semaglutide that said like only tested on rats or something like that. There was the word rat
the
was on the
research
front of the
meds.
bottle. I'm like, yeah, girl, that's why you haven't been losing weight on this nonsense. So I guess my question for you is like, and Serena, you can weigh in as well, but like, how do we educate clients on how you know that you're getting something from a legit place? Like, how do you know that a clinic online or in person is legit versus not?
Research them. Like I give you my name is right there. If you could use Google, you'll see that my license is in good standing.
Yep.
You see all the states I'm licensed in. Look at the clinic name. Look that up on Google. Does it have a business page? Are you able to find it on the IRS website as a legitimate company with a tax ID number? Are they an LLC? Are they just is the name sound like a fly by night name? Is it called Express Weight Loss or something like that? Like don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to ask, where is your product coming from?
1,000%.
Yeah.
That's one of the major things that I always say.
If it comes as a powder, if you have to reconstitute it, you don't want it. That's not legit.
If you can buy it easily, like as if you're buying something off Amazon, no, it's not. If the price is really like too good to be true, it is.
It is.
That's why we always prefer that you get monitored by a physician or a nurse practitioner, because these medications have side effects, and taking research meds, it's not safe. It's not meant for human use. It says it on the bottle.
Exactly.
It says it on the website.
Exactly.
That's all the proof.
When you're spending all of this money on medication, one way to really make sure that you're getting good use of your money is by getting assistance so that you don't regain the weight.
Yeah, agreed. And there's side effects to these medications, and it's really important to be guided by someone that can help you out, because it just sucks going through it alone. It's nice to have someone you can talk to and, get some guidance.
Love to have you back in the future, especially so we can hear more about your Tirzepatide journey in detail. Your wife seems like such a badass. I got to meet her before. We were saying we'd love to have both of you come on, and we can really kind of hear about what that journey was like. So we'd love to have you come back in the future. You're awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
So how can our listeners find you? Was there anything that you would like to plug?
Just caliperwellness.com, on Facebook, Caliper Wellness, on Instagram, same thing. TikTok, it's Andrew APRN.
Andrew's TikTok is super lit. Like, if you just want to be motivated, like if you're like, oh, I don't feel like losing weight right now, oh, like I don't want to work, just go on his TikTok. It is super motivating and super fun. Scroll through his old videos. His TikTok is lit.
Don't go too far back, because you'll see me, when I was heavy, saying stupid dad jokes and trying to annoy everyone in my house. If you went back far enough, if I have a full head of hair, if you see the mohawk, it's okay. But if you see a full head of hair, you went back too far. You went too far.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and we can't wait to have you back.
I'll come anytime.
The answer is chromium picolinate.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
And so chromium is great. So chromium is an essential trace mineral supplement that can help stabilize blood sugar levels, which is crucial for managing appetite and reducing cravings. It works by enhancing the effects of insulin, making it beneficial for weight loss and overall metabolic health. You'll still see it mixed in some supplements sometimes. Yeah. In fact, we have one from Martech Pharmaceuticals that's like a fiber supplement, but there's chromium in it as well for the reasons mentioned.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a rating, and share with your family and friends who might find it helpful.
And remember, we love hearing from our listeners. Connect with us on our social media channels or shoot us an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. Don't forget to check out our website, www.thewayinNPs.com, and to follow us on Instagram at thewayinNPs.
If you need one-on-one help with your weight loss or wellness journey, book a private consultation with us. The A-List Clinic can be reached at www.thealistclinic.com or on Instagram and TikTok at The A-List Clinic.
And my clinic, Lifefire Weight and Wellness, can be reached at www.lifefireweight.com or on Instagram and TikTok at LifefireWeight.
Thanks again for tuning into the Wayne Podcast with your hosts, Katie and Serena. Until next time, take care and be well.
The information in this podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for medical consultation with a qualified medical provider familiar with your medical needs.